Greetings and happy Friday. Happy Friday. Perhaps it is Saturday to one and all. This is Late Night, perhaps morning, with Doe, and it is basically a recap and open topics. I will be dropping the link if anyone has anything they would like to add later. And Melly has beat me to the punch. So, again, welcome to those who may come in and to those who may catch the replay. Absolutely, Melly. Rest in peace, Carl Weathers. And I already have this queued up. And he did pass away today at the age of 76. Carl Weathers, as many know, has played in several movies, but is most known as Apollo Creed in the many Rocky Balboa sequels. So, Carl Weathers, rest in power. Again, thank you, Melly, for that. You beat me to the punch. Now, first and foremost is this continuing saga that I've been following and others have as well. Let me capture this comment. Melly said, he taught me how to throw these hands. Well, Melly, do you have any video proof that you know how to throw hands? Until then, I'm going to have to brush that off. So, as I was saying, the first on my docket is what I've been following quite a bit, and that is the case involving Fulton County, Georgia, DA Fannie Willis, and the allegations, which were at first allegations of an inappropriate relationship with Nathan Wade. I'm sorry. Give me a moment. Let me get through this. Nathan Wade, as you can see to the right, and one of the individuals who commented on my live earlier said that he looks like he was sizing her up then. And as I'm looking at the photo, he has that little bite of the lip as he's looking downward. Perhaps he's looking at her speech. I'll just say that. I'll clean that up really good. But you be the judge of what you see in that photo. And Melly is laughing. Melly said 20 years ago. Now, before I get too far as to what it is I'm going to be speaking about, let me place this really quickly. And it's basically the Fair Use Act disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, which states allowance is made for fair use of copyrighted material for purposes of commentary, criticism, news reporting, research, education, teaching, and/or scholarship. It provides for the legal non-licensed citation and or incorporation of copyrighted materials which might be infringing under other circumstances. So, as I mentioned earlier, today when I did a live on Fannie Willis and her admitting of a personal relationship with Nathan Wade, she also stated that she does not feel, even though This relationship, according to her, began in 2021, should not have any bearings on the case waged against former President Donald J. Trump. Melly, let me get your comment off. And Melly also says Bonnie is ooey. Okay. Now I am going to share my screen as I've already placed my disclaimer. It just gives a little bit more context as to the latest with Fani Willis. Again, this is fair use.
Fulton County DA Fani Willis today answered accusations of misconduct that have been coming from one of Donald Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia election conspiracy case. Now, the attacks against DA Willis center around this man, Nathan Wade, one of 3 special prosecutors that DA Willis brought on board to oversee this case. Last month, Trump's co-defendant and former campaign operative, Mike Roman, alleged that DA Willis and Nathan Wade were carrying on a secret relationship. Mr. Roman then asked the judge in this case to remove Mr. Wade, Ms. Willis, and her entire office from the case. Mr. Roman contends that Nathan Wade wasn't qualified for the job on DA Willis's team, but Ms. Willis hired him anyway, ensuring that he would receive a generous salary and financial benefits thanks to their alleged relationship. Now, today, in a 176-page court filing, Fani Willis has offered a detailed response to those allegations. First, she confirms that, yes, she and Nathan Wade had a, quote, personal relationship in addition to their, quote, professional association and friendship. But Ms. Willis says the relationship began after she hired Mr. Wade to join her team. Mike Roman claims that Mr. Wade was using the money paid by Mrs. Willis's office to finance vacations he and the DA took together, but Ms. Willis disputes this. Financial responsibility for personal travel taken is divided roughly evenly between the two, and all expenses were paid for with individual personal funds. In other words, they were going Dutch. As to the claim that Nathan Wade was not qualified for the job, Fani Willis cites a litany of Nathan Wade's qualifications and notes that when Nathan Wade ran for an elected judicial post, Mike Roman's own lawyer was a vocal and visual presence in support of Nathan Wade's campaign. As evidence of that fact, DA Willis even includes this photo of Mike Roman's lawyer in a Nathan Wade campaign T-shirt, which the lawyer posted to social media with the caption, "Vote Nathan J. Wade." And DA Willis argues that her relationship with Mr. Wade is not automatically disqualifying. It is worth noting that there are at least 2 personal relationships among the collection of defense attorneys representing the defendants, and then she goes on to name names. So that is the defense from District Attorney Fani Willis. Did she break any laws? Well, it seems like the answer could reasonably be no. As former Senior Justice Department official Andrew Weissman notes, the new Fani Willis brief supporting affidavit and exhibits are so powerful, you wish the substance was public right after the allegations so as to nip them in the bud. But does that mean this whole saga is over? Unlikely. After all, DA Willis has criminally charged the former president and several members of his inner circle, and the stakes for this trial are enormously high. So none of this is going to go quietly into the night. Independent of the actual legality here, there are a few other factors that DA Willis must contend with. Consider the case of Burt Jones. Jones was a state senator in 2020. He served as one of the fake electors in Georgia, helping Donald Trump create bogus election documents to try and overturn Joe Biden's victory. And Fani Willis wanted to investigate Burt Jones, but she was stopped from doing so. A Georgia judge, Judge Robert McBurney, blocked her on the grounds that DA Willis had helped raise money for Burt Jones's Democratic opponent in Jones's race for lieutenant governor. Now, Judge McBurney did not cite any laws broken, but in the courtroom, he called Fani Willis's actions a "what are you thinking" moment. Judge McBurney wrote in his opinion, quote, "An investigation of this significance, garnering the public attention it necessarily does and touching so many political nerves in our society, cannot be burdened by legitimate doubts about the district attorney's motives. The district attorney does not have to be apolitical, but her investigations do." Now, it's possible that the judge in the current criminal case, Judge Scott McAfee, could make a similar determination here with regards to Ms. Willis prosecuting the election conspiracy case, or not. But then there's Georgia's Republican-controlled legislature. The Georgia Senate has already launched an investigation into DA Willis, which they could use to subpoena records from DA Willis or force her to testify under oath, which could be of interest to the commission that Georgia Republicans created last year for the sole purpose of removing so-called far-left prosecutors. Now, that commission was effectively put on ice by the Georgia State Supreme Court, but as of now, Georgia Republicans are trying to revive it, and they are using Fani Willis as an example of why that commission is needed.
Okay. That was great. So Melly has said, good grief. And what you may not know You should be able to hear me now, hopefully. But as I mentioned, she was indeed subpoenaed. And the subpoena is for records as it relates to the allegations of the misuse of federal funds. So hopefully you can hear me. If the audio is good, please let me know. Awesome. Thank you, Melly. So with that being said, and I asked the question before, could this admission of a personal relationship and the probe into allegations of the misuse of federal funds, is it possible that she and the entire team can be removed from this case? And what, if anything, will this mean for former President Donald Trump? Will she and her office and staff be looked at further under the microscope? And Melly says, come on, StreamYard, do not blow me over this evening. Okay. Melly says, she's only getting pressed because of Trump. Okay. And earlier, Melly said, she's not the only one to misuse funds. No. So, Melly, are you taking up for Fonnie? Melly says, anyone else, they wouldn't care. I'm not really sure about that, but we're here to chop it up and discuss what's going on. Now, there have been people prior to these revelations that have hinted that she may be a little bit on the corrupt side. How accurate that is, I don't know, but it seems to me with these revelations, there might be some credence to it. Hey there, Mama Hania. How are you? Malaikum assalam. Good morning to you as well. And thank you. And Melly says, Brett Favre hasn't been held accountable. No, not as of yet. But trust and believe, the state of Mississippi is on his top. Keep in mind, in that particular case, you're looking at 77 million. And there are others involved with that as well. So no, he hasn't been held accountable yet. As I said, they are truly on his top as well. And there are two entities actually that he could be in deep water with by the time all of this is over. So I'm going to star this to refer back to it. But yes, Brett Favre, actually, I believe his lawyers, and I mentioned this a couple of lives ago. Mel, you were on it, where I was asking about celebrities and GoFundMes. And I mentioned that I believe one of his lawyers or someone close to him was to speak or was being questioned in reference to it. And Melly says, the U.S. sucks, for a better word. Okay. So next up, we have another woman who I believed and still am on the fence right now, is under the gun, and my thoughts and feelings, as I said, was that she might be a victim of a witch hunt. But as I look at the evidence that has come out and the admissions, she too may be another individual who has misused or has been dishonest. And I really don't want to say that, but I have to be honest. And that is Marilyn Mosby. Thank you so much, Mama Honey. You always share, and I appreciate that. And again, the reasons why I feel as though Marilyn Mosby is under the gun is because of her involvement in the Freddie Gray case. And for those of you who are not familiar with that, I'm going to give you a brief snippet. And Melly says, money for wars and corruption, but can't feed the poor. Tupac. Absolutely. And if you go back through the time tunnel, and if you are a connoisseur of oldies like I am, the late, great Marvin Gaye, who to me was well before his time, spoke on the same things. What's going on? And the Inner City Blues, both classics. Just thought I'd throw that in there. So I am going to present the next screen. Again, this is going to be I believe so, Melly. This is going to be, again, fair use. And it's just a brief snippet for those of you who may not be familiar with Freddie Gray. And this is Marilyn Mosby, who's on trial for mortgage fraud. Fair use. And again, thank you to those that have come in and to those who may catch the replay.
To seek justice on behalf of an innocent 25-year-old man who was unreasonably taken into custody after fleeing in his neighborhood, which just happens to be a high-crime neighborhood, and had his spine partially severed in the back of a Baltimore police wagon. For those that believe that I'm anti-police, it's simply not the case. I'm anti-police brutality, and I need not remind you that the only loss and the greatest loss in all of this was that of Freddie Gray's life. We do not believe that Freddie Gray killed himself. We stand by the medical examiner's determination that Freddie Gray's death was a homicide. However, after much thought and prayer, it has become clear to me that without being able to work with an independent investigatory agency from the very start, without having a say in the election of whether our cases proceed in front of a judge or a jury, without communal oversight of policing in this community, without real substantive reforms to the current criminal justice system, we could try this case 100 times and cases just like it, and we would still end up with the same result. Accordingly, I have decided not to proceed on the cases against Officer Garrett, Sergeant Alicia White, or to relitigate the case against William Porter. What I've learned through this experience is that every battle, every hurdle, every obstacle that we've overcome since the pursuit of these cases has brought us one step closer to equality. And that any and every step towards equality in our justice system is well worth fighting for.
And Melly said, wasn't Marvin on We Are the World? I believe so. I'm not sure. I would have to go back and see. But again, that was a snippet of Marilyn Mosby, who is currently on trial for mortgage fraud. And the trial is taking place at the federal courthouse in Greenbelt, Maryland. Now, this particular case is strictly about whether or not Marilyn Mosby was dishonest on the paperwork she submitted for 2 quote unquote vacation homes in Florida. The defense rested on Thursday. Closing arguments are expected next week, and I would assume jury deliberations will soon come after. If found guilty, Marilyn Mosby is facing 5 years in federal prison. Now, the shaky part of this was earlier reports, and this is why I say and I implore those to do their research. It's almost like shepherdizing in case law. You may have an opinion that was in, I'll say, 2019, but then you'll have a new case which supersedes. And that's the case you should reference. So the same thing with your research. Things change. And in reference to Marilyn Mosby's case, she stated early on that she wasn't aware of any mail from the IRS reaching her, and she was not aware of any tax issues. According to the latest reports, she now has admitted that she was indeed aware, but she was following the guides and tutelage of those who helped her with these properties. And I will share my screen to give context on that. Again, this is fair use.
Heard testimony today from 4 defense witnesses, 2 bankers sandwiched in between Marilyn Mosby's ex-husband and Marilyn Mosby's mortgage broker. Marilyn Mosby's defense is largely based on blaming others, including her mortgage broker, Gilbert Bennett, who flew in from Tampa to testify for the defense this afternoon. He told the jury he originated the 2 home loans at the heart of this mortgage fraud case and helped guide his client through the purchase of the homes, first in Kissimmee, Florida in September 2020, followed by a condo on the Florida Gulf Coast in February 2021. The government has charged Marilyn Mosby with lying repeatedly across those 2 sets of loan documents, including when she signed off and said she did not have tax debt or a lien, and that these would be second homes, not vacation rentals. Mosby's team says she did what trusted advisors told her to do, including her ex-husband, Nick Mosby. He is the star defense witness, and he was back on the stand for a contentious day of cross-examination Monday.
At this time, I can't really talk about the case, so case is still going on, but I appreciate it.
Mosby contradicted some of his own testimony. The government pounced. Mosby kept answering, "I cannot recall," and federal prosecutors questioned if Mosby was telling the truth under oath. The defense indicated that it has 2 or 3 more witnesses to call and may continue presenting its case through Wednesday. The government also told the judge today it has rebuttal witnesses it plans to call. The trial resumes here tomorrow morning. In Greenbelt, I'm Kate Amaro, WBAL TV 11 News.
So that was the latest update in reference to the Marilyn Mosby mortgage fraud case. Thank you, Mama Hania. And hey there, Miss Chads. How are you? Good to see you. Happy Friday or happy Saturday, depending upon where you are. That's a cute little emoji. Yes, thank you. So next up, and this is just a precursor to a live I have scheduled entitled, Melly says, so she has no accountability. And that's how it appears at this time. I was really rooting for her, but the contradictions that were made, as you could see on the video, does not look good. So we'll have to see what these witnesses have to say and the upcoming testimony, but the contradictions does not look good at all. Again, we shall see. So the next live I have scheduled, and I really would like for this to be interactive with both men and women, meaning you all are going to have to, if you'd like, hit the link or be active in the chat, is, and I'll ask the question again, if a man wants to date and the woman has a child or children, should the man pay for the babysitter? And Melly is saying, hold on, Melly. Tell one lie and can't keep up the other lies in order. And that is the problem when you start. And then when you are in the public eye, it gets worse. And the irony in both of these cases, it's couple related. You know, you have your exes or your current partners that are there trying vehemently to render damage control, but it does not seem to be working very well at this time. So again, the question is, and I'm going to show a couple of little videos, and that's what the live that will be coming up will be about. And it should be fun if we get a good balance of responses from men and women. And that question again was, if a man wants to date and the woman has one child or more, should he pay for the babysitter as well? Give a couple of moments to see if anyone has any thoughts on that, and then I'm going to play a couple of videos. Now, let me say this before I go further. A lot of people like to think that there's only one demographic that has these notions and ideals. That is not true. And once I present these videos to you, that would indeed change your mind. Yes, we're different, but in many cases, we're the same. And as I said, once I present these videos, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Again, the topic will be, if a man wants to date a woman with a child or children, should he pay for the babysitter too? And I'm going to share the screen again. This is fair use.
Out on a date.
Okay, what is that?
I gotta get a babysitter for my kids.
Okay. Should a nigga pay for that?
Yes.
What?
Guess what now? A part of me is my kids. And in order to take me out.
Dating. Making an investment for a relationship.
And that's why
and I shouldn't have to pay for your trying when you're investing
I'm
in
not
your
saying every day. I'm saying, okay,
no date.
Right on.
a man that's for me, in my opinion,
Yeah.
they know that, okay, she's a mother of two. She's holding down a business. She's holding down a house. She's commuting from Jersey to New York. All right, how much is your babysitter?
No man should have to pay for no daycare just to go on a date with you. Those are your kids. You figure out what you're going to do with them. Call the father to those kids. If you
Hey there, Hurricane JW. How are you? So, any thoughts on that quick snippet? She was adamant. And Melly said, I agree with the lady in the car. Okay, now that's one demographic. Here's the next. Again, fair use.
Less than 1 year. I live in Houston and I'm a single mom. I have no friends and family here. I'm like kind of alone here. So if I go on a date with someone, I always ask to pay for a babysitter. Sometimes it's 50, sometimes 70, sometimes 100, depends on the time, and yeah, depends on the time. Is it okay for you to pay for a babysitter if you just go on the first date? Let me know in the comments.
Whoa, wait. She's asking the guy she's going on a first date with to pay the price of the person to look after her child? Whoa, no way. No way that's what she's saying. She's asking the guy to actually hand over his money on the first date to look after her child that she created with another man. And now this man she's going to see on a first date has to pay for that result. He's footing the bill already for her child. Get out of here with that.
It's a total.
They said, I will not. And Mama Hania is here. So those two videos are a snippet of my live that I have scheduled, and hopefully you're able to see that, and you'll see the picture of a baby Cardi B, and it's the same title. Should a man who wants to date a woman pay for the babysitter? So again, I think that is a good conversation to have with a balanced group of men and women. And again, those are just two snippets on that video that will give a perspective. And as Melly said earlier, he agreed with the first video, the lady in the car. And as you could see with the second video, the content creator was like, get out of here. Melly said, the nerve of these wannabe entitled chickens. So, number one, that proves, and it should not completely eradicate, but it should ease the misnomer that there's only one group of women who feel like that. As you could see, that is not true. There are women of every shade of the rainbow, unfortunately, that may be a bit skewed in their thinking when it comes to relationships and what they expect. So that is a recap and what's on tap. Thank you to those that joined in on this late night, early morning, and to those who may catch the replay. Thank you to all of my members, subscribers, those that come in to listen, those that take time out to give the video a thumbs up. That means so much to me as well. And Melly is saying, no, yes, I just got off not too long ago, and I have a pot of delicious, nutritious, vegan collards that need my attention. And they have been simmering all day. And I'm going to make sure that my secret ingredient is incorporated in there. I'll tell you what that is later. That's okay. You should be ready to go Betty by. But with that, there's so much information out there. Mel, you never hit the link. I don't know if you hit the link in anybody else's chat or not, or if you just listen and offer comments on all of that's fine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And what else do I have upcoming that I've been working on? Oh, the Jim Jones and that quote. That may take me a little bit longer because I may be incorporating some of the things I see on YouTube as well when we speak about cults and how easy it is to, unfortunately, I don't want to use the word brainwash, but some people are enamored by celebrity, if you will, or the limelight, and they become followers as opposed to leaders. Oh, well, you haven't hit any over here. Maybe because I don't go backwards and forth with people and arguing. I can't do that. I mean, let me not say that. I could, but I choose not to. It's not conducive for me. And I'm a lot older now, and I am not going to run my pressure up and manifest any additional issues by arguing with people. And to me, it's just not worth it. Sure, I've seen it be lucrative for many people, but that's something I'm just not into. And Melly said, that's not it. Oh, okay. I don't want to get anything misconstrued. So with that, it is, oh my goodness, almost 1:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you again to those that popped in and to those who may catch the replay. Enjoy the remainder of this. Actually, it's a pretty breezy, temperature friendly evening. And enjoy your rising. And until next time, it's 10:25 your time. And Melly said, I've outgrown messy too. Well, you were talking in code yesterday. I don't know what you and JB2 had going on. I wasn't privy to it. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm popping up in sectors all over the place. So, but 10:25, good gracious, you're laughing. I was about to block all three of you, to be honest. I said, no, let me not be mean. 10:25. So you must be in Cali or on the West Coast. You said y'all are from Chicago. Okay, so it must be a Chicago thing. Okay. We have our lingo. Okay. Well, you have your lingo. You all need to start tipping the host. Again, I'm not into the beefing and starting up stuff with folks. I like to bring news and, as I said, this topic right here about expecting a man to pay for a babysitter, things like that. Sports, even though my boys lost, so I'm not going to really be talking about that much anymore. But maybe on my other channel I'll do some reactions, but if it's too messy, I'm not going to do that. So again, everyone, enjoy, be safe, be well, and if you've been listening long enough, you know the rest. And until next time, bye-bye for now.